Hello everyone, this is Hina Kausar and you're watching Hindustan Times. Today we are going to be talking about the nursery admission process in National Capital. The admission began on January 2nd amid a lot of confusion as the government has announced the schedule and the criteria for over 1700 private schools, but there are around about 300 private schools for which the schedule and the criteria is yet to be announced, because these are the schools which are built on DDA land, and the land lease says these schools have to give admission to neighborhood students, which means that the government has set a distance criteria of 1 kilometer, and all these schools, these 300 odd schools, will have to give admission to students living in the neighborhood. The admissions began on January 2nd and today is day 2. As you can see, there are not many parents. I am in Vasant Kunj at Ryan International School. Since morning, parents have been coming into school to ask about the forms, but as this school also falls under the 300 schools which are on DDA land, so as the government has not yet announced the schedule and the criteria, admission forms are not yet being distributed. Parents have been coming in here since morning to ask about when the forms will be out, but schools are as clueless as the parents because they are still waiting for the government announcement. Let's talk to one of the parents who is present here. Hi sir, I am Hina from Hindustan Times. Okay, so the parent is obviously not willing to talk to us, but there's a lot of confusion going on because there are about 300 schools and most of these schools are the popular ones, and parents want to find out when these criteria would be announced for these schools. About 15 minutes ago, there was a parent who was here and he had checked at least 10 schools. Few of the schools have announced, are giving out admission forms because they fall under the 1700 odd schools for which schedule is out. And he said he is really confused because he still doesn't know which schools, forms of which schools are out and forms of which schools are not out. So there's obviously a lot of confusion. Schools also don't know when the criteria would be announced for their schools. And but sources in the Directorate of Education have told Hindustan Times that the criteria and the schedule is likely to be announced tonight or at the most tomorrow morning. And once the criteria is announced, there's going to be more clarity on how the admission process is going to happen. As of now, the situation stands that 1700 schools in the national capital have begun their admission process. For the rest, or 298 to be precise, these schools are yet to get a government order to start their admission process. Now my colleague Shraddha Chetri will take over and she will join you live from east of Kailash DAV school. Thank you so much. Please share and comment, and please put in questions if you have any in the comment section.